Have you ever wondered if switching to a plant-based diet is actually worth all the hype? Well, today, we're going to cut through all the noise, get past the headlines, and give you the real story, backed by science, and with a good look at the very human side of changing how we eat. So, let's just start with one number, 76%. What is that? That's not just some random statistic, it's a potential game changer for our planet. See, massive studies have shown that's how much we could reduce the land used for food production if the world shifted to plant-based diets. It's a huge figure that immediately shows you why this conversation matters so much. But hey, this isn't just about salads and tofu, not at all. We're going to explore the whole picture of what it means to go plant-based. We're talking the incredible, science-backed benefits for your body and the environment, but also the real world, totally human hurdles you might face along the way. Okay, so let's dive right into the big picture. Why even go plant-based in the first place? We're starting with the two heavy hitters here, the main reasons people are making this global shift, the health and the environmental evidence. You know, this visual really tells the whole story, doesn't it? We're not looking at a small difference here, it's a massive gap in how many resources we use. This shows the difference between a food system that can work with our planet and one that's putting it under some serious measurable strain. And when you look at the details, they're just as dramatic. A potential 49% drop in diet-related greenhouse gas emissions, that 76% land use figure we talked about. But honestly, the water comparison is where it really hits home. To put it in perspective, the water used to produce a single steak could pretty much fill a small swimming pool. For the same amount of grain, you'd barely fill a bathtub. It's wild. But the impact of this shift, it doesn't just stop at our planet's borders. It extends right into our own bodies, and it can influence our long-term health in some truly profound ways. Tons of large-scale studies have drawn a really clear line connecting plant-based eating with a lower risk for major chronic illnesses. We're talking heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity. In fact, research even points to lower all-cause mortality. So when we talk about plant-based eating, we're not just talking about food, we're talking about something that could be a powerful tool for a longer, healthier life. But, and this is a really big but, not all plant-based diets are created equal. Not even close. A diet packed with whole foods like fruits, veggies, legumes, and whole grains, that's your ticket to better health. But on the flip side, a diet of plant-based junk food, refined grains, sugary drinks, ultra-processed snacks that can actually do more harm than good. Quality is absolutely everything. So that brings us to the reality check. How to actually navigate your nutrition. Because knowing why you should do something is one thing, but mastering how to do it in a healthy, sustainable way, well, that's the real key to success. And here it is. You knew it was coming, right? The million-dollar question that stops so many people right in their tracks. But where do you get your protein, or your iron, or your whatever? It's the question we've all heard. And you know what? It's a completely valid one. Okay, let's just tackle this head on. Let's start with the big one, B12. It's essential for your brain and nervous system, and it's really only found naturally in animal products. So fortified foods or a supplement, that's pretty much non-negotiable. Now for iron, here's a pro tip. Plant-based iron becomes way easier for your body to absorb when you pair it with vitamin C. So think lentils with a big squeeze of lemon. It's all about those smart pairings. And as for calcium and protein, trust me, they are everywhere in the plant kingdom, if you just know where to look. But here's the thing, even with a perfect nutrition plan, there's another much deeper layer to all this. Because what we eat is never ever just about fuel. It's about feelings, it's about family, and it's about fitting in. Have you ever felt that weird, kind of irrational hesitation about trying a food you've never seen before? Well, that's a real thing. It's a documented phenomenon called food neophobia. It's basically a leftover survival instinct from our ancestors. But today, it can be a major psychological hurdle when we're trying to fundamentally change what's on our plate. And then there's the massive cultural weight of food. I mean, just think about your own family traditions for a second. How many of them revolve around a specific dish for a holiday or a celebration? For so many of us, changing our plate can feel like we're rewriting our own history, or even challenging our social identity. It's heavy stuff. This quote from the journal Appetite really gets to the heart of it. Calling food a therapeutic object. I know, it sounds a little academic, but it's getting at something deeply human. It means this journey isn't just about what you're eating. It's about using food to process really complex feelings, to handle guilt over past choices, to find a sense of control, and to feel empowered to live in a way that actually aligns with your values. And that deep psychological journey, that need for familiarity and comfort, well, that helps explain the absolute explosion of our next topic, the modern plant-based meat alternative. These products are a really fascinating study in contrast. The promise is incredible, right? You get the familiar taste and texture of meat, which makes the transition feel almost seamless, all with a much smaller environmental footprint. But the problem, the other side of the coin, is that to achieve that mimicry, they are often ultra-processed, packed with sodium, and they usually carry a higher price tag. They're a really useful bridge, but you just have to know what you're crossing. So, how do we pull all of these different threads together? You've got the environmental science, the personal health, the nutritional needs, and the very real psychology of it all. Let's try and synthesize this into a balanced, practical transition plan. The research really points to 4 key strategies. Number 1, make whole foods your foundation. Remember, quality is key. 2, add, don't just subtract. This one is huge. Instead of focusing on restriction, get excited about adding just one new plant-based meal to your week. 3, plan for those key nutrients we talked about. And 4, which might be the most important, find your people. Social support makes any big life change so much more achievable. And let's be super clear here. The goal is not about achieving perfection overnight. It's about progress. Adopting a more flexitarian or plant-centric approach, where you're not super rigid about it, still delivers huge benefits for you and for the planet. It's all about the direction you're heading, not the speed. Which brings us right back to you. Knowing what you now know about which the science, the psychology, and the practical strategies, what does a sustainable and healthy plate look like in the context of your life? That's the real journey, and it can be a delicious one. Thanks so much for joining us for this talk. If you found value in this video, please like and subscribe.